Hi, welcome to Adventurers. It's great to see you again. I hope you're well and that you've kept safe and you've enjoyed your week in whatever you've done during the holidays. I thought that this week, that as the grown-ups are starting to come back to church, that I'd do Adventurers here so that we could all be part of what's going on. One of the things that we have to be very careful of, isn't it, is when we do meet up together, we need to maintain our distance, don't we? We need to socially distance. Can you remember how far away that is? Is it this far? This far? It's 2 meters, isn't it, where we can, wherever it's possible. And so that's why I thought I'd better sit a bit further away from you today, because we don't want to get too close. And so here we are at Adventurers. We're ready to go. We had an exciting weekend last weekend. We did the treasure trail all around Old Town. It was really good. There's lots of different clues, and we were able to walk around bits of Old Town that we'd never walked before. We got it from Lethbridge School. Their friends of Lethbridge did this treasure trail. It's really good. You want to see whether maybe got a spare afternoon. You could persuade your mum and dad to maybe have a little walk around Old Town and see what it's like. But we're going to start today as we normally do. If I can find the flying pig, where has he gone? One thing you'll be pleased to know is I've got my Paddy this week. And yes, he's flying in. Whoosh. Oh, he loops the loop and he's ready to go. So are you ready? Assuming you can see this from this distance, of course. Are we ready to sing? Do you see this penny? It is brought by me for the little children far across the sea. Hurry, penny, quickly, though you are so small. Help to tell the children Jesus loves them all. Flies away for another week, and we're just going to put our hands together because we're going to pray to God now. Our Father, we just thank you for being with us and helping us this week in all that we've done. Thank you that you're always there, and we just pray that we might know your help with us today as we meet in Adventurers and as the grown-ups meet at church, that you'll be with them too. Pray again for the children in Myanmar, that you'll just watch over them and keep them safe and well too, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. What do we do next? Time for a drink and a biscuit, isn't it, when we're in the Adventurers room, and to do our puddle sheet. So here we go. Listen out for your name. Grev. How did you get on with your fruit kebabs? Were they nice? Did you enjoy making them? I expect it was even better to eat them though, wasn't it? I enjoyed mine, and it was all gone. And all the other bits of pineapple have gone too, which was really nice. So, if you send a picture, send a photo. You've got your mum and dad to send a photo. We've got our pedal sheet. We've got our footsteps. So we're going to add. I think I did mine, didn't I? So I think I'm going to give myself a foot mark and another one, I think, because I was a good boy. I made a really nice one. And can you remember the memory verse, though? If you can, we'll add another one for that too. Well, what do we do after that? It's time, isn't it, to have our drink. Look, I've got my cup. I brought it specially because we've got to keep our cups to ourselves, haven't we? So I'm going to have a nice drink. I hope you've have a drink and a biscuit, or a drink and something else, and get ready for story. Because story time's coming up now. Are you ready? Let's rock. Let's go. I hope your brains are in gear this morning, because it's going to test you at the beginning. Because I want to see whether you can work out what these signs are that I'm going to show you. Because we see signs all around us, don't we, all the time. I want to see whether you can remember what these are for. So have a look at the first one. Do you know what it is? Yes. It tells us that we mustn't go down there, doesn't it? Because it's a no entry sign. And it means that we shouldn't go down there, especially if we're in a car. How about this one? Did you get that one? That was that we should only go 20 miles an hour if we're in our car. So if our mums or dads are driving us, that's the speed that they should go when they see that sign. What about this one? That one tells us, doesn't it, that where that sign is, that that house or that property or is for sale, that somebody wants to sell it. What about this one? It's a sign to show that it's a church, isn't it? We have a sign outside of our church to tell everybody that that's what this building is. And so that's why I've come inside. Now you'll probably get this one because we've seen lots of these recently, haven't we? Have a look. Yes. Got to keep our distance, haven't we? We've got to socially distance from people that aren't in our bubble. One more. What do you reckon this one's for? Can you work it out? What is it? It's a snake on a pole. What's that sign all about? If you can't guess, listen in, because we're going to find out. Because we've been following the people of Israel, haven't we? And they've been on a big, long journey. They've come out of Egypt, that God's rescued them from Egypt. And they've walked all the way to the land that God's promised them. God had given them his special rules, but the people had soon forgotten about God. And when they got to the edge of the land that God had promised them, they didn't trust him enough. That's what we found last week, wasn't it? And so God said to them, you've got to walk around the desert for a long, long time. The desert was all a bit the samey. It was brown, there was no green, and everything looked the same. It was a bit like this. Nothing ever changed. It was all the same. And then they used to have to take their tent, they have to take it up, pack it up, and they'd carry on walking. And then when they got to the right place, they would take their tent down again, put it back up again. It was all very, very much the same. And they had to do this for a long, long time, for year after year after year. God provided them with special food so that they could have something to eat, because in the desert there was nothing for them to eat. Can you imagine having the same meal every day? I wonder what your favourite meal is. One of mine's is curry. And in our family, one of the things that we're really getting into at the moment is kind of Mexican taco type things. But I think we'd soon get a bit bored of it if we had to eat it every single day. Can you imagine your mum or your dad giving you your favourite food for the next week? I wonder what you would think. And what if that went to the next month? What if that went to the end of the year, all the way to Christmas? Wow. We'd soon get tired of it, wouldn't we, I think? Do you think you'd start complaining? Do you know what? That's exactly what the people of Israel did. They were in their tents and they were moaning and they were groaning and they saying, why on earth are we here? What do we do walking around this desert for year after year after year? My feet ache, my legs ache. We're just having the same food all the time. It's horrible. Why on earth are we here? Why don't we go back to Egypt? It'd be much nicer there. And they started to complain complain and moan and groan at Moses. God heard them as they did that. And he was thinking how ungrateful the people were. He'd rescued them from Egypt. He brought them all the way. He brought them to the land that God had promised them, and they said they didn't want to know. And yet still, even though they said no to God and going into the promised land, God still provided for them every single day so that they didn't go hungry, and their feet and their shoes didn't wear out, and their clothes didn't wear out, even though they walked and they walked and they walked. And he was so upset with them. Do you know what he did? He sent things like this. Do you like snakes? Have you ever had them at school where they've come in and you've been able to hold the snake maybe? I'll tell you what though, there was lots of snakes that God sent, but these weren't very nice ones. These weren't very nice ones at all, because do you know what happened? These were the snakes that used to bite. And the trouble was that if a snake bit you, you died. And then the people were still upset, and they started to complain to Moses and say, why on earth's God done this? Please talk to him. Please ask him to forgive us. We're very, very sorry that we've moaned and that we've groaned. We recognise that God's looking after us. Please ask him to stop. And so that's what Moses did. He prayed to God and asked God to forgive the people. And that's exactly what God did. And he said to Moses, what I want you to do is I want you to take and make a bronze snake. And I want you to put it on the pole, and I want you to stand it in the middle of the camp, just like this. And then, if somebody gets bitten by the snake, they can come out of their house and they can look at the snake on the pole. And if they do that, they won't die. If they do that, I know that they are truly sorry for what they've done. And I will forgive them. And I will make them better. You see, the sign of the snake on the pole was that God would forgive the people of Israel. What an incredible sign that was. And so the people, when they were ill or when they were bitten, would then look at that snake and be made better. But what's even more incredible about this story is that Jesus, years and years later, when he lived on the earth, he was talking to a man, a very important man called Nicodemus. And he referred to this story from the people of Israel. He said something along the lines of that just as the snake was put on a pole and the people, when they looked at it, lived, that's a picture of me. Because I am going to die on a cross. And I'm going to, because I die on the cross, I'm able to forgive people from all the wrong things they've done and said, all the bad things that they've ever thought, all the things that they should have done that they haven't done. And if they look at the cross, then I know that they really mean it and they want to be forgiven. And that means that you and I can be forgiven too. All we need to do is just look at the cross where Jesus died. Because we know that he died there for us, for you and for me. And if we look at that cross, and we ask Jesus to forgive us, then we can know life with Jesus for ourselves. That's absolutely incredible. What an amazing story. What an amazing picture. What an amazing sign. And that's why it's important that we think about the cross. And Jesus has given that to us so that we can be reminded of his love for us. And that he loved us so much that he gave his only son so that we won't die, but that we can live forever. It's time now. You'll be pleased to know Esther's back. So we're going to go over to her for the craft now. All yours, Esther.
Hello everybody. How are you? Have you had a good week enjoying the sunshine? I had a lovely time down at my mum's. They live on a farm, so I was able to get and milk some cows, which was really exciting. Now, today's story was the people had done things which were wrong, and God provided a way for them to be made better by looking at the snake. And when they looked at the snake, it showed that he'd forgiven them. So we're going to make our own snakes today. Spiral snakes. First of all, if you get a piece of card or paper, just start in the middle and do a spiral going round and round and round and round. And then at the end, just do a little finish bit and then decorate it. So I'm going to put a little eye, because the eye of the snake's going to be there, and do its tongue, mouth coming out here, and then I'm going to do a little pattern of red stripes along here, lots of red stripes. So keep going like that, and maybe you can do a little bit of yellow spots, whatever colours you like. Decorate the snake however you like. Keep going like that, and then you need to cut along the black line. So you cut along here, keep cutting really carefully along the back line, all the way round. Remember, keep your scissors in front and just keep moving the paper or card round. So scissors in front, open and close, open and close, open and close, open and close. Keep on cutting, open and close, open and close. So keep going along. Get that bit out of the way, and you see it's starting to make a spiral shape. So we keep cutting along. Takes a little bit of time. You keep cutting really carefully. Keep turning the card and the paper round and round along the black line. And it's making a spiral shape. And you'll have decorated all of your snake. You can get snakes in all sorts of lovely colours. They've got pretty patterns on them. Perhaps you could do a repeating pattern. So you're nearly at the end. Just a few more snips. Last bit is a bit tricky, going right up. There we go. And then my spiral. So then you get a piece of string and sellotape it to the head of the snake. Oops, I don't think that bit worked. Sellotape it there, and you can have a little bounce of it, lift it up high because the snake was lifted up high. This is one that I've done earlier, and I've also put the memory verse onto the snake as well, which says, "Look to the Lord and his strength." Psalm 105 verse 4. That's to help you remember it. But anyway, have fun. You can bounce your snake along and have fun with that. Take care. Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoy making your snakes. It'll be great to see them and see how colourful you've made them, how pretty you've made them, how vicious you've made them, even how long you've made them. I wonder who can make the longest snake, who's able to cut around so many times to make the longest snake. Well, we're just going to finish now with the memory verse. Esther said it, didn't she? But I don't think we could really see it on the snake. So I'm just going to put the words up now so that we can see what they are. And it says, "Look to the Lord and his strength." Psalm 105 verse 4. Look to the Lord and his strength. Psalm 105 verse 4. Let's see how many of you can remember that. But even if you can't fully remember it, remember to look to Jesus, because he's the one that forgives us. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed Adventurers. I'm afraid that we're going to be taking a break for the next couple of weeks. We've been doing this for a long time now, haven't we? We've had great fun in the different things that we're doing, but we're going to have a couple of weeks off. And so we're going to send you a link for another little thing that you can watch instead of Adventurers for the next 2 Sundays. And on the 30th of August, we'll be back. So see you then. Have fun. Bye.